Thank you, sir. I'm a little bit disturbed with the things I'm hearing right now, here where I'm seated, and I pray that it isn't true, Mr. Speaker. The subject at hand is medical evacuation. This country has learned the hard way, having lost two presidents who have died abroad. President Levi Mwanawasa, may he so rest in peace, unfortunately got an attack outside of this land, but even when the attack happened, he had to be taken to France to try and resuscitate him. President Sata, may he so rest in peace as well. The story is the same. So here in this country, we have a human resource that is able to treat ailments when they manifest. And I have examples of colleagues and contemporaries like Dr. Sichizia, one of the most celebrated surgeons we have in this country, who has done operations even on Siamese twins here in Lusaka. So what's lacking? What's missing? The amount of money that we have spent via the approvals by this group of people who sit once a month to determine who qualifies to go for treatment on government treasury is colossal. If you go back and do your computation, you will then realize that even the lamentations of the mover of the motion vis-a-vis the lack of technology is just machines. We have sufficient know-how. We have doctors who we have laid off on national interests, doctors who could have served humankind. But under PF, we have seen the discrimination of medical staff. We have living human beings, warm bodies, Mr. Speaker, who have been discharged of their duties on national interest. Absurd by PF. On account of ethnicity, people have lost jobs in the medical circles. And they're there. If we will survive this COVID that we hear is now at the doorstep, our doorstep, and we form government, I want to say that under UPND, we shall not lament about medical evacuation. Look at the situation as it stands today, Mr. Speaker. There has been a total lockdown in most countries. There are no air ambulances that are flying back and forth to get people treated. How are we surviving? It is the power of He who makes the sunlight turn into dark and the dark turn into sunlight, the giver of life, who determines how long you'll survive. But we should not sit and just depend on the giver of life. We must bring everything, even if it means we bring the expertise here. I know that in India they are very good specialists. We are better off bringing 10, 15 here with their technology at UTH, where they can conduct all these operations on people who find themselves ailing. So it's totally unwarranted that we should continue as business as usual, because the truth of the matter is that out of the 17 million Zambians, some people don't even know there is a board that sits at the Ministry of Health that makes a determination of when one requires evacuation. They don't know. But they enjoy the right amount of citizenship as those who know. So should it be the preserve of just those who are connected? The answer is no. Clearly, the successive governments that have come as a result of what we know now, when we were hit by COVID, that we only had a limited number of ventilators. It's because of government inertia. There's too much theft in government, too much corruption in government. All the money that is being pilfered by PF should have gone to improve the medical services, so that there's nothing such as going to evacuate only the chosen few, the lucky ones, the anointed ones. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. When government fails the people must take that government out.
The Honourable Member for Mazabuka Central.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I want to thank the committee for bringing this motion. It could not have come at a better time than this, when our country has everything fertile in as far as we live today for a society to degenerate into this same issue of genocide. Because genocide has a breeding ground. It doesn't just happen like that. It does have a breeding ground, and the breeding ground is discrimination. There is a reason why, as far back as then, they decided to bring out this particular convention and also plug in spanners in the works to say that whether you ratify or you don't ratify, whether you domesticate or you do not domesticate, you are bound by that if that act of genocide does happen in your home country. We have learned sufficient lessons from Rwanda, where that genocide happened. And the Seconda actually indicated how grave it is for those who have experienced genocide. Racial discrimination, tribal discrimination, religious discrimination, creed, those are the ingredients, Madam Speaker, of genocide. And when the wheels of society start plucking out, as the case is in most African countries, you will be sure that there will be somebody not far from you who is going to answer to these heinous crimes of genocide. It starts like a joke. Discriminate you based on how big your ears are, discriminate you on how loud you speak about critical things that government does, and when government decides to be the culprit number one to promote genocide, it's difficult, madam, to reverse. Once a society breaks down to a point where it cascades, I hope you follow what I mean. Like, you know, the Victoria Falls water, when it drops down that cliff, that's called cascading. You can't lift it up. No science can bring that up. We have seen it here in this country, madam, where, as I'm talking to you now, 2 days ago, PF cadres went into Soweto Market, removing anybody who they believe speaks Lozi, anybody who speaks Tonga, here, not far from where I'm speaking. And that's a fact. Don't argue with me. This is how genocides begin. When the operating democratic space starts to shrink, people then react. When they react and you use the heavy-handedness of the law, the arms of the law that exist, which is meant to protect people, to further subdue them, people decide to say, chive, chive. What chive, chive means is let it be, which means only those who will be mourning when I'm gone are going to be the ones suffering. There is a reason why you are being urged as government to ratify this quickly, because that is one of the things that defines best practices. 10 years since the convention was signed. 10 years down the line, you can't bring it here for ratification. Ratification is a 5-minute job, Madam Speaker. One begs to ask a question. What is holding you back? Is it because of the issues that come with it? The issues of human rights abuses? The issue of heavy-handedness? The issue of using institutions of government to suppress people? Suppressed and oppressed people can only be suppressed for as long as the clock is ticking. There comes a time when the clock stops. Then you know that there's trouble in the neighborhood. This matter, for me, is very close to my heart, Madam Speaker. I'm urging Her Honor, the Vice President, to bring that instrument here as quickly as yesterday so that we can ratify it. When it is ratified, everyone will be reminded that it's important to respect your neighbor and go back to the old doctrine as love thy neighbor as you love yourself. Because you cannot do harm to somebody who you love. Societies have degenerated as a result of this procrastination of signing simple documents that are so well-meaning to society, as PF has been procrastinating. Bring it on. We need to get even with the best practice of the world. Madam Speaker, thank you for the opportunity. Time is not enough, but they have to do what has to be done. Thank you.